Hey guys, so Xiaomi just launched the new 6X here in China and I've managed to get my hands on one. So the reason why this is interesting is because this may very likely be the upcoming successor to the Xiaomi Mi A1, which is in Google's Android One program. So with that said, let's get to the unboxing. So this is a very simple basic box, so let's just get this open. As usual, with most Chinese manufacturers these days, they give you a silicone case. So I don't mind. Moving on to the phone, I've got this red colored Xiaomi 6X. So just quick look, it looks really nice. So let's put that aside. In the box you also get a Type-C cable, which is standard these days, and a very small quick charger. So again, what you get in the box is the manuals, which probably no one will ever read, the phone itself, the USB Type-C cable, the power charger, a silicone case, a headphone adapter, yeah, and that's it. So yeah. Okay, so with the unboxing out of the way, the main star of the show is of course the Xiaomi 6X. So let's just peel this protector off. And also the one at the back. Let's see. Aha, there we go. So you can have a full look at the phone. So this phone doesn't come with a notch, so I guess a lot of you will be happy about that. The home button is on the back, and I really like the color of this phone. Like, look at the red, it's really red, and there's a very nice aluminum feel to it. So onto the specs. Let me just bring up the specs real quick. So this has a Snapdragon 660 and 6 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of onboard memory. So there is no option to put a memory card in here. So 64 gig is all you have, and if you need more memory, maybe you should get the 128GB version. So this phone uses USB Type-C, as you can see at the bottom, and if you notice, there's no headphone jack, but it does come in a box, the adapter for the headphone jack. So that helps you if you need it, because one thing to mention is that there is no headphones that comes in the box, so you're all alone on that end. Meanwhile, I would like to talk about this display that you see here. So in real life, the colors looks a little less saturated when you compare it to devices from Huawei. So this phone is just an LCD screen, but I somehow feel that at times the colors look a little washed out. Even when I switch the wallpaper, it just looks a little washed out at times, but maybe that's just me. So as I was saying, sometimes when you take a picture and you zoom in on a photo, or you just snap a photo, the picture looks very noisy from the screen itself. But I notice when I transfer the photo out to another phone or into my laptop, maybe the photo is not as noisy as what you will see in the screen. So I don't know what's happening. The pictures just look somewhat over sharpened from the screen itself. So otherwise the screen is bright, it is usable outdoors, but just that it's a bit washed out, and sometimes at times it gets a bit over sharpened. So I've been using this phone for the past 4 to 5 days, almost a week now, and the phone runs on MIUI 9.5 and it runs Android 8.1.0 right out of the box. So for me, opening and closing apps have been fairly quick. Like I don't have any issues with opening all these apps and all that. So it's really quick, as you can see. So I'm just opening randomly some apps over here, and they're really fast. Otherwise, and I did try gaming, so I won't show you me playing the game right now, but I just want to say that when playing the same game, Mobile Legends, which I also play on other phones, it's not as smooth. I wouldn't say that it's bad and it lags terribly, but I would say that it's just not as smooth as playing the games on maybe say the Huawei Honor 10 that I reviewed last week. So games are definitely playable, but maybe not too graphic intensive games. So moving on, I would like to talk about the speakers. The speaker here is a single speaker, and let's just quickly go through this. Everybody's trying to be famous, and I'm just trying to find a place to hide. I'ma tell them all that you Alright, so you can't really tell the music quality from the video itself, but it's just one speaker, of course, it's not a stereo speaker, and sometimes I feel that the sound quality is not as good as maybe like the iPhone or any other phone. The volume is there, it's definitely loud, it goes really loud, but you just don't feel, it doesn't feel very nice to listen to the speaker on this phone. So yeah, again, that's just me. Maybe to you it is fine, but usually I guess we would plug in a pair of headphones to listen to music. But yep, you gotta go buy your own headphones for this phone. Okay, moving on. I just talk about the pre-installed applications. So if you notice here, there is some this is some native apps in the phone by itself, and these are some pre-installed apps. So mine is the Chinese ROM version, so there is all these Chinese apps, but there is about like 20 bloatware, I would say, that comes on the phone. But this is way lesser than the ones on the Huawei, which came with like 40 to 50 bloatware apps. So yep, you can uninstall it if you don't like it. Meanwhile, I also did a Antutu benchmark score. So if that means anything to you, the phone score, let's see, 127,000. Yeah, so that's the Antutu score. But I don't really bother much about the scores that it gets, but I only bother about like how it performs in daily use, and for me so far it has been pretty alright. Okay, so that's we've covered performance. Next, I would like to talk about the camera of this phone. So I'm going to share some photos which you can take a look at it. Once again, I would like to say that I'm not some professional photographer, so I just take photos in normal mode, in auto mode, sorry. And it turns out, let's see how it looks. Okay, so first let us take a look at some outdoor shots that I took during the day. So you can see it is really clear and nice. Like the shots doesn't appear too nice on the screen itself, so you have to transport your photos to the computer to really enjoy the clear pictures. So this is a very nice weather that we had. So you can see everything is very clear, the colors are good, it's accurate. When we move on to some macro shots, notice that the background is really blurred out, so it looks really nice. Your colors are also very accurate again, like what I mentioned just now. Alright, moving on to the portrait mode. So I didn't have a person to take a picture of, so I took some portrait modes of some objects, but you can see the portrait mode on this phone turns out really well. It also works pretty okay for the front-facing camera, so that is me looking directly at you. Now onto some night shots. Sometimes the night shots appear quite noisy, but if you manage to get but at times you do get some good shots. So if you're taking a picture of a bright building, notice that the pictures will turn out also very sharp and clear. There is not much noise in the background, but if you take a picture of dark areas, then you may notice some slight noise. But overall, I think night shot works pretty well on this phone. Okay, so I took like a ton of photos on this phone, and if you would like to see all the shots that I took, and note that all these shots are unedited, so you can go to my Flickr, which I will leave a link below, and check out all the photos by yourself. You can check it out and see the quality of the photos taken from the Mi 6X. Alright, so on the advertisement for this Xiaomi 6X, Xiaomi did mention something to do with AI. So in this sense, what they mean by the AI, so when you go to the camera and you go to settings up here, you'll see you have sorry about that, you have AI detection. Yep, you have AI detection. And what this does is it lets you take a photo of a product. Let's say I snap that, and it does its magic. So you can choose to search in the some store, so you can buy the product that you just scanned. So otherwise it does some translation as well, but I've done some translations and it's pretty bad, so I really wouldn't count on using this AI for translating any documents. Other than that, Xiaomi also has what they call Xiao AI, which actually is something equivalent to their Siri, but one thing you need to know is this only works in Chinese, so there is no English support for this personal assistant. So I think that's pretty irrelevant for the other for those who only understand English. But otherwise, if you speak Chinese, I think that will help really well. Okay, so just very quickly, another thing that this phone supports is gestures. So instead of having the home button at the bottom, the on-screen button, I mean, what this phone allows you to do is have the iPhone pen-like gestures. So you could close an app doing that, go to multitasking, here we go. So this is very iPhone 10-like, but it works pretty well. So if you go to the settings, you go to something, and you go back, you just swipe to go back. So it's very easy, and it works pretty well. I would say it's not as snappy or as quick as the iPhone 10, but yeah, it works right out of the box. So if you kind of like these kind of gestures, if you think it makes navigating around menus quickly, you can have this option. Okay, moving on, I would like to talk about the battery, of course. So battery on this phone, there's a 3010 milliamp hour battery in this phone, which I wouldn't say is very large, but it definitely holds up pretty well. Like, I've been playing games, checking my social media, browsing internet, making calls, and I realized that there is the battery doesn't drop too quickly. Like, I could get through a full day. Okay, maybe not a full day, maybe up to like, I wake up in the morning at 7 and about 8 p.m. there's like 20% remaining. But all you need to do is just do the quick charge because it charges up really quickly. So like most phones, I would say you don't need to rely on a power bank. Just plug in your charger to the wall and get some juice in, and that should solve your problem. I would assume you would only need to do that once a day, so it's not too tiresome. But that's just me. Alright, so battery life will always depend on your personal usage. Of course, if you are a hardcore gamer, then maybe you will only last through half a day. But otherwise, for normal use, if you're worried, I can rest assured let you know that it will last a full day without any issues. Alright, I think that's about it for this phone. Alright, so to just quickly sum up my points for this particular phone, what I really like about the Xiaomi 6X is the price. So over here in China, it costs less than 300 bucks, 300 US dollars. So this is a really great phone for the price. What you get is a phone that has a great build quality, a pretty decent camera, one that works really well at night as well as in the day, and you can do like portrait shots using the back camera as well as the front-facing camera. So that's pretty cool. Another thing I really like is the battery life and the quick charge that it has. So that works really well, and you don't have to worry too much about battery. Last but not least, I also like the fingerprint sensor. Like, it's really quick. See, it's so quick. Yeah, so I really like that as well. But moving on to what I don't really like, the first thing I don't really like is of course the screen, because the colors, like I mentioned, are a bit washed out and it feels over sharpened at some times. Another thing I don't like is the speaker, because I personally don't like speakers that don't sound good, especially on this phone. It doesn't sound too great. Another thing I don't like is the fact that Xiaomi doesn't provide any earphones whatsoever in the box. I mean, if you're gonna remove the headphone jack, at least give us some kind of earphones, right? Alright, so that's pretty much it. If you're looking for a budget phone less than 300 US dollars, I think this could possibly be the phone for you. Alright, thanks for watching. If you like this video, let me know. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please post them in the comments below. Thank you so much, and I wish every one of you a great day.